In just 30 minutes, the MU Tigers will take the field at Arrowhead Stadium after a historical week on Mizzou's campus. Good evening, I'm Andrea Gonzalez.
And I'm Michael Lindquist. The entire nation has had its eyes on the Missouri football team this week, both on and off the field, most recently with Coach Gary Pinkel announcing his retirement yesterday. KOMU-8's Connor Handel is live at Arrowhead Stadium to break down one of Pinkel's last games as a college football coach. Connor.
It's been quite the week for the University of Missouri, but after some questions, there will be a football game tonight, and fans are clearly pretty excited about it. We're about 30 minutes away at Arrowhead from Missouri taking on BYU, and it's not technically a home game, but Gary Pinkel will start his goodbye tour in a place that's a home away from home. Now, Kansas City has treated him pretty well. He has a 5-1 career record with the Tigers at Arrowhead, but that record might be in jeopardy tonight. It's a battle of streaking teams in opposite directions. The Tigers enter losing 4 straight, while the Cougars have won 5 in a row. Offense has been the story in the skid. Missouri has scored just 1 touchdown, while the Cougars have exploded for 26 in their win streak. Winning 2 of their final 3 games to become bowl eligible is going to be important for the Tigers, and it starts tonight. But by turning their focus back onto the field is the biggest key here. Reporting live in Columbia, Connor Handel, KOMU-8 News.
Thanks, Connor. It's no secret the Tigers have been through a lot this week, and so has almost everyone in the Columbia community. It took sports fans by surprise when just yesterday Coach Gary Pinkel announced he will be retiring at the end of this season because of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. This came after 2 resignations after the football team threatened not to play in tonight's game. Fans around town are wishing Pinkel well and are hopeful about the team's performance.
Go Tigers. I mean, I think we can pull it out tonight. We got a lot of heart, and I think we've overcome a lot in the past 2 weeks. Everybody here in Columbia has gone through a lot, and I think tonight's win would be something spectacular for us.
When the game starts, we'll keep you updated on Twitter and throughout our evening newscasts on how the Tigers are doing as they take on BYU.
Many Mizzou fans make the trek to the west side of the state to see MU take on BYU at Arrowhead Stadium. This highly anticipated game was threatened earlier in the week when players went on strike from practice. KOMU-8's Rose Schmidt is live in Kansas City to tell us why fans continue to cheer for Mizzou. Hi, Rose.
Thanks, Michael. I've talked to many Tigers fans over the past couple hours who've expressed concern for Gary Pinkel's health, and they're sad that he's leaving. But many fans told me that despite the team's boycott, they never doubted that this game would happen. Tigers fans from all over Missouri packed Arrowhead Stadium today. They're tailgating, grilling, and having a good time. The recent protests and Pinkel's retirement are being talked about everywhere here.
Because Gary Pinkel's a good thing for this organization. It's sad to see him go. But, I mean, it's understandable why he has to go to fight cancer and everything, to be with his family.
Earlier this week, we told you that the Mizzou and Tiger team stores pulled whiteout shirts from their shelves. But fans that I talked to today didn't even know that this game was supposed to be a whiteout. Now, we'll continue coverage all the rest of the night. Keep watching KOMU-8 News. Reporting live from Kansas City, Rose Schmidt, KOMU-8 News.
Mizzou's interim chancellor Hank Foley sent an email to the Mizzou community this morning saying the student activism at MU is a positive thing. He spoke about the campus climate, saying this has been a significant week in our university's history. Although some people may perceive that Mizzou is in turmoil and what is happening here is negative, I want to tell you that it is not. We are proud of our students. They are passionate and committed. He went on to say, let's be proud of our school. Mizzou, to its credit, is a place where dissent and activism are not just tolerated, but embraced. You can read Foley's full statement on our website, KOMU.com.
The latest injury count from the French prosecutor, 300 people are wounded and at least 99 in very serious condition after last night's terror attacks.
Authorities are calling this the biggest terror attack since 9/11. NBC's Kier Simmons has the story of last night's events.
France is in a state of emergency. Its people in a state of shock. What started off as a typical Friday night turned out to be the deadliest day in the country since World War II. A night of sheer terror has left at least 127 dead, over 200 injured, 99 of whom are in critical condition. And the toll continues to rise. 8 attackers are now dead, but it's possible that they had accomplices who may be on the run. The attackers, described by eyewitnesses to be young, unmasked men with automatic weapons, opened fire on the crowds, then later detonated suicide bombs, killing themselves. At approximately 9:30 p.m., explosions were heard outside the Stade de France, where French President François Hollande was watching France play Germany in an international soccer match. At about the same time, simultaneous, coordinated attacks got underway at several locations, including bars and restaurants in a crowded, popular neighborhood. All not far from the Charlie Hebdo offices, the satirical weekly magazine that was the site of the January 7th attacks. The scene of the worst carnage at the Bataclan Theatre. Just after 9:30, several armed individuals entered and began shooting for about 10 minutes. At around 10 p.m., gunmen began taking hostages. Authorities say between 80 to 100 people may have been killed at that location alone. This dramatic cell phone video shows terrified concertgoers escaping from the back door, running past the injured and dead who are lying in the street. Over at the National Soccer Stadium, where the bombers blew themselves up, thousands of spectators were held on the field before being evacuated. French police and military have been mobilized, over 1,500 troops flooding the city. The country's borders closed overnight. Paris has been in lockdown. People have been advised to stay indoors. Museums, schools, universities, government offices, even Disneyland, all closed as investigators begin to put the pieces together. Back to you.
Interim Chancellor Hank Foley said today the university made contact with the 4 students in France. He said they're safe. Foley also says MU is working to support the international students from France. He said, quote, "Our hearts go out to the family and friends of the victims in yesterday's shooting in Paris."
The Missouri River Relief received a $91,000 grant to provide education about the Missouri River. The grant is a part of the Environmental Protection Agency's Education Grants Program. The Missouri River Relief is one of only 35 organizations throughout the country to receive a grant from the EPA. The organization director says the group would like to host workshops and summer camps, among other things, with the money.
Missouri River Relief for a long time has wanted to build a network of river action teams up and down the river. We only have so much resources, we can only do so much. So we want to be a communication hub and a convener for other groups to get together and work together.
Barrow says the grant is provided over a 2-year period, and it's the first time the Missouri River Relief has received a grant from the EPA.
Truman Veterans Access Medical Center participated in Access Stand Down today to ensure veterans in Missouri are receiving the care they need. The Truman VA joined a nationwide event to help get faster treatment for veterans in the specialty clinics. Veterans who wanted to see a specialty doctor like a podiatrist would sometimes have to wait over 30 days to be seen. One Truman VA director says the hospital is addressing these issues.
We do well in terms of clinical quality, access wait times, and some other areas. We do have some areas that we need to improve upon, which is podiatry and optometry, but we've hired the staff and we should see those waits come down.
He also says this program will help see patients in a more timely manner. The VA hospital has been working on addressing these concerns since January of last year.
And it was a beautiful day outside, perfect football weather. Let's send it over to Sydney in the live Doppler 8 First Alert Weather Center to see what we can expect.
And we did see quite a bit of sunshine out there today. Skies are remaining clear for us, and that's going to continue throughout our evening hours. Here's a look at our satellite and radar right now. Not a whole lot going on really throughout the entire state of Missouri. Temperatures are cooling down though. 53 in Columbia, 56 in Moberly, 54 over in Boonville. Here is a look at your evening planner. We're going to continue to cool down, but we will be clear during our overnight hours. Overnight lows are going to drop into the lower 40s for us. Coming up after the break, we'll take a look at your 8-day forecast.
Also after the break, how the largest icon in France is responding to the terror attacks.
And why grieving Parisians are turning to the city's blood banks in large numbers next.
Want those umbrellas?
As long as it doesn't turn into snow, I'm fine.
Good.
We'll be right back.
They touch my heart. It's like we're just missing something, we're losing something.
Parisians are in a state of disbelief and mourning after last night's string of terrorist attacks.
ISIS claimed responsibility for those deadly attacks in Paris that left 120 people dead. It says it sent fighters strapped with suicide bombing belts and carrying machine guns to various locations in Paris. The claim comes a day after ISIS released a video urging Muslims who are unable to travel to Syria to carry out attacks in France. An ISIS militant said to terrorize them and do not allow them to sleep due to fear and horror. There are weapons and cars available and targets ready to be hit.
All over Paris, the city is showing signs of mourning and recovery. French President François Hollande ordered flags on government buildings to be lowered to half-staff today. World leaders in many other countries have also ordered their flags to be lowered as a symbol of respect for France. Armed personnel also patrolled the Eiffel Tower today. It closed to tourists after the string of deadly attacks in the French capital.
Hundreds of French citizens volunteered to donate blood after last night's terrorist attacks in Paris. Doctors at the center say that usually donations are very low and that this surge will help fill those gaps. One nurse encourages people to return because she says blood will be needed over a much longer term and in the next few weeks. She said they have regular donors, but nothing like this.
So, what is a police officer supposed to do when he pulls over a car and nobody's in it? Well, he calls Google.
Oh.
This California officer was shocked to find an empty vehicle after he pulled it over for going too slow and backing up traffic. He soon discovered it was a self-driving Google car. Police say they can ticket a person using the vehicle, but since no one was even in the car, the officer didn't issue one.
That's quite some crazy stuff there. Now here's a look at what's coming up on KOMU-8 News at 10. The Tigers will kick off at Arrowhead in just a few minutes.
And we'll have highlights and a full recap of tonight's game. Plus, we'll tell you how the Paris attacks are changing the U.S. presidential race when we see you tonight at 10.
It will be clear and calm tonight. Overnight lows are going to cool down into the lower 40s for us. Sunday, we're going to start off with a mostly sunny sky. Clouds will increase throughout the afternoon. Taking a look at this upcoming work week, we have quite a few chances for some showers and thunderstorms, so the umbrella will definitely be handy.
Can you imagine having dry